You're listening to the Jed James podcast. Today I'm joined by Todd Ennis from Loveyamind. He's a life and mindset coach spreading a positive message on mental health, fitness, and life. Toddy, thanks for coming, brother.
Mate, thanks for having me. It's a real honour.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the huge drive down from Newcastle and coming and hopping on the show.
Yeah, was just saying to you off air there, mate. You resonate with certain people, and sometimes the universe will just guide you in the right direction if you open your mind up. And the fact that the space that you're in, the way that you've built your brand so far, is very similar to the hard way that I had to do it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, mate, just to be down here and supporting what you're doing because you're supporting what I'm doing. I'm hoping that this will help you escalate what you're trying to do in the mental health space as well a bit quicker.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
No worries.
I'll just touch on how I feel like I manifested you coming on the show.
Yeah, sure.
When I came up with the idea of doing a podcast, I was following people online from my page, and one of the first people that came up was yourself.
Yeah,
I seen the message that you're spreading. And I'm like, I have to get Todd on my podcast.
Wow,
I'm like,
yeah, that's awesome. I was probably flooding everyone's feed at that point.
yeah. I was like, this has to happen. So I wrote your name down, and
Yep.
and then a couple of days ago, after we chat a little bit, and you've sent me a voice message saying, Jed, I'm coming down to Wollongong, brother. He's like, if you want me to come and jump on the podcast,
Yep.
And here you are.
Mate, it's meant to be. And, I've had these experiences like you where as you go along, you sort of meet people that are, I guess, making some impact in the realm, and they're sort of leveling up, and you're like, shit, I can't believe I've met this person. But you were meant to.
Yeah.
You were meant to because of what you're doing and because you haven't quit on what your purpose is and your vision, and you haven't quit.
Yeah.
Eventually, and I won't be the first person that you meet along the way.
Yeah.
You'll forget about me in a few months for sure.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
I'm so grateful that you actually manifested me because, to be honest, the person that I used to be and what I thought of myself, to think that someone all the way down in Wollongong wrote my name down on a podcast as someone they really wanted to get on their show, it's so humbling, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is wild. I think the first reel that I seen was a reel of you talking about New Year's Day. You woke up. I think you're at the beach.
Yeah. I remember it really, really clearly, actually.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this guy is like he's come from a real rough place. He's spreading this great message, and it's something that a lot of people need to see.
I can't even begin to tell people when I get really excited about what's going on, what my DMs look like.
Yeah.
Like, I've got CEOs of companies, I've got doctors, I've got sports people. I can go on, but it's all, you got to keep going. You're helping so many people. The impact that you're having on me personally or whatever. When's your next reel coming out? Are you going live today? I sort of need to hear a bit of Toddy's inspiration on a Monday. Can you do something on Monday-itis? Can you do something on addiction? Because I feel like I'm like anything, and I'm thinking, fuck, these people all over the country now are just flooding my DMs, and they're getting shit off their fucking chest and off their mind. And it's free, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the people that I coach, and that's different because, I've got to delve right into a whole holistic model to help them. And I love that.
Yeah.
But these free tips that I'm putting on social media, that's helping people.
Yeah.
So I just got to keep going, mate. Just like any of us.
No, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, mate.
Last year in September, which not that long ago, you only had 200 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right.
And now you're just shy of 9,000 followers.
Yeah. Oh, well, after the Jed James podcast, mate, it should be 99,000.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, what's that been like? The response from people, like, that's a real fast growth. Like, when I started following you, you had about 2,000, and it's like we're only at the end of February,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I had a goal, just a random goal, to have 10,000 followers by the end of the year because I thought that I could impact mental health
yeah,
through 10,000 people.
yeah,
Man, it's fucking February. I've
yeah,
got 9,000. It
yeah.
just,
You're gonna need to set a new goal.
yeah, I'm going to set new goals all the time. But one thing I learned, just off topic, a fraction, is when you do set goals, we can't predict the future. So there's no point having a limitation on that.
Yeah,
You've just got to stay on the track that you believe because those 10,000, that's not what, hit that and then stop. No
yeah,
way.
yeah.
No way.
No,
But yeah, look, I always knew, that I had something to offer, and I always knew that I was going to impact in the mental health space, but I didn't know I was going to do it this rapidly.
yeah,
I think the more that I did stuff for free and in the community and just kept showing up, and people started trusting, wow, this cunt's actually serious. Like,
yeah, yeah,
this is how he did it. He's telling us how he did it, but he's making us accountable to change too.
yeah,
We've got to keep following. And then they would share it and they would share it and they would share it. And I'd start saying to people, you know what? Followers aren't going to get me money. This
no,
is not how I make money.
yeah,
But I want to spread this message as far as possible.
yeah,
So if you want to share my stuff and you think someone needs to hear it,
yeah,
mad. Do it as a selfless act for the day. It's up to you.
yeah,
Either way, I won't stop. And then they're like, 17 mentions overnight on someone's story.
yeah,
I'm like, fucking 17. Holy fuck.
yeah,
And it's not in Newcastle. No one supports me. Well, I shouldn't say no one, but that's where I was an addict, a criminal,
yeah,
and a corner cutter.
yeah,
That's where my whole life's been. So people really struggle in Newcastle to see me as that guy that someone in Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth, whatever, sees me as.
yeah,
But they got to let go of the past and see me as where I am now and how I've elevated.
yeah,
And this whole holistic model that I've created, I did this.
yeah,
I had no choice.
yeah. That's a very valuable lesson that people don't understand is you are not your past.
Yep.
Your past has guided you or got you to where you are today, but your actions now and who you choose to be now is who you are.
Yeah, and it's hard. I don't know if it's just Australia because I haven't seen a lot of the world. I do have a 10-year restriction of leaving the country so I can't really go
Oh,
and see what it's like just yet.
yeah, yeah,
That finishes in 2026. But from what I've seen in other countries like Indonesia and that, there's no tall poppy syndrome. There's no doing better than anyone else. Everyone's just there to help each other. But I feel like in this country still, no one really wants to see you do better than them. They want to see you do well
yeah,
until you do better than them. Then they don't want to see you do well. So they will revert back to pulling you back to the past to bring you back down a bit.
yeah,
They'll find though, oh, remember when he was this, remember when he was that. Oh, I remember when he was, and it's like the old barbecue. The first person you can pick is the biggest mouth. Will say, oh, did you hear this person? Or have you heard about this?
yeah,
And you think, is that all you can talk about? Like,
yeah,
why would you want to gossip about someone else to bring them down if it makes you feel better? Like,
yeah,
can't you come to the thing and support? So I still feel like in Newcastle, for me, there's still a lot of that. Fuck, have you seen this fucking idiot on TikTok or on Reels or on this? And then there's someone else will counter and go, yeah, but hang on. Have you seen the impact he's having in mental health?
yeah.
Have you seen how he lives now? So,
Yeah, the tall poppy syndrome is a terrible thing, especially in your case where you're trying so hard to help people and spread this invaluable message. Why would people be trying to knock you down? It's
well,
just, yeah, sorry.
it's funny because everyone was telling me what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. And you should be doing this in the jails and you should be doing this at the schools and you should be talking to this demographic here, 35-year-old broken men. You shouldn't be you should be doing this with your shirt on, mate. You're spreading the wrong message. And I was so pulled and torn at the start because I didn't know where I fitted in. But I just in the end, I just kept doing what I wanted to do because like I said, I knew I had something to offer, but it had to be me and organic and holistic from me, not what anyone
Yeah,
else was telling me what to do.
yeah,
And I think that was a real mindset shift because I knew I could turn the camera on and be me and more people would resonate with it.
yeah,
You can't regurgitate someone else's content and make it yours because it's not you and it comes through that way.
yeah,
You have to go, fuck, I've got an idea. I'm at the beach. I'm going to do this right now, right here, right now.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you can tell whether it's authentic or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even the other morning, I seen on Instagram you're at the beach and you're doing beach sprints. I was like, fuck, like I'm not doing enough. Like Toddy's out there getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, part of the rebuild, which I'm sure we'll talk about,
Yeah.
it's doing the work and completing it, or there's doing the work and beating it. So when you go to the gym and you train, you're like, I went to the gym today, or you went to the gym and I fucking hit PBs and I failed every muscle group.
Yeah.
And then I went and did it again. That's where growth happens.
Yeah.
So when I was doing that run, I had every intention of just going on a light jog to clear my head. And I'm like, 5Ks after the 6K run,
Yeah.
I've done nothing. I've been at a slow cancer. I'm going to fucking do this and challenge myself. So the last 1K, I just stopped, turned my tracker off and just went sprint for sprint for sprint till I was just legless and gassed.
Yeah.
Then that's a workout. Now I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's part of those weak choices that were part of my life that I had to turn into that anterior cortex part of your brain where you create that likely outcome now as a harder choice rather than go to weak choices.
Yeah.
It takes time, but you get there.
Yeah, it does. A little bit of short-term pain for long-term gain.
Absolutely. And I mean, at 42, mate, you gotta be a little bit more sensible too with your training and that. But I know my body, I know what I'm capable of, and I know when I'm not achieving that. And a lot of people say, mate, what do you take your shirt off? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Leave it on, mate. Just leave it on. I said, because it keeps me accountable to the camera. No one's going to take my word for physical movement as my first pillar that I coach if they see me overweight.
Yeah.
And because of my ketosis and my carnivore diet, my fasting, like vascular as hell, I look really good and I'm proud of that. So I am going to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And I say to the guys too, instead of the hate, which I get, and the jealousy, go give yourself 12 months of my routine and how I do it and come and take your shirt off with me.
Yeah.
The best thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
Or you can keep writing your stuff on the Instagram and just keep wasting your life and not doing anything about it. It's up to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, you're a walking billboard pretty much, and you're proof in the pudding that
awesome.
That what you're doing is working.
Well, it's walking the walk instead of talking the talk.
Yeah.
And when you have a mentor in your corner that is doing that and there's no negotiating around that, that's the person you want to be guided by.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Let's talk about your coaching. What was it that made you choose to start coaching people in the way that you're doing now?
I've got to be careful how I address this towards psychologists and psychiatrists.
Yeah.
Because I've used them in the past. They serve a purpose for sure, but they're very much about the why you're feeling this way and why this, why that. And I'm about how, the action. Okay, that's good. Depression's knocked on the door. I get that, but I'm not going to lay there and let it shackle me. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do this, and this, because I know that's going to give me the best shield to fight the challenges that come with depression and mental health.
Yeah.
So I'm about that, So for me, when with coaching, I looked at two aspects. Number one, I kept getting asked over and over, what have you done to get yourself in this position? How can I come and see you? And I was just catching up with people for nothing. I thought, you know what, I'm not getting by. I'm doing all this disability support work, but I'm just feeding this life that's right there that I could take.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple of messages saying, how can you ask for money when it's mental health such a big thing? And I thought, that's a really shitty thing to say.
Yeah.
Because this is a business
on
the back of how I've rebuilt myself. I want to show people how to do it, but I've got to earn to keep going and doing that as well.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then I looked at going and seeing a psychologist or whatever. It's taken 6 months to get in. So you've got all this hope in that time that you're going to be right.
Yeah.
And you leave with medication or you leave with a book or something that you need to read. And that gives you hope again, but it's false hope.
Yeah.
Because there's no action around it. So now you're relying on a tablet and your next appointment to survive.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a Band-Aid rather than a cure.
And like I said, I'm not going to diss them because they serve a huge purpose, and I know I'll get messages saying, but that's good. Any publicity is good publicity.
Feedback's good.
Yeah, but we all have our role to play with mental health at different aspects, and these are my opinions based off my findings that I've done.
Yeah.
So what's good for me is what I'll teach, because that's the blueprint and that's the way it is for how I did it.
Yeah.
So the coaching for me is awesome. I get to do most of it's over FaceTime or Zoom.
Yep.
I get to meet these new people, and they are broken and they are busted and they are desperate for change,
Yeah.
and they don't know where to start. And the best thing that they do is they book me in, they make that first consultation, and it's the start of a whole new chapter for them.
Yeah.
So that's so rewarding to be able to do that, to watch them cry to me at the start and then be smiling with some information and homework that I've given them just for 7 days.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck, that's really basic. I'll try that.
Yeah.
And the more it goes, the more people I help, the more and more this grows. The more I want more of it. I
Yeah.
just want more of it.
It's addictive. Well,
Yeah.
like, not only are you getting paid, but you're doing a job which is extremely satisfying. Like, helping people and knowing that you're making a huge difference. It's massive.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of moments there. I was even just talking to a friend of mine on the way down. I was saying to her, I've been struggling a lot getting overwhelmed lately with how quickly this is growing,
Yeah.
but also accepting that I am now a really good person and someone people look up to, because I was never that guy.
Yeah.
I really didn't think I was worth anything. I really didn't think I had much to offer the world other than to be a loser, a bum, and possibly not even live another day, because I didn't really like where I was going, and I couldn't see a brighter day ahead.
Yeah.
So now when people keep flooding me with all this stuff, and I go, I've got to learn to accept that this is what I asked for. This is what I manifested.
Yeah.
This is where I sat in these cold 4:30 mornings in a little fucking dungeon out the back of my mate's industrial shed, looking around going, I've just got to keep going. I've got nothing else left. I've lost everything else, any assets, family, friends. I'm showing up at NA meetings, battling addiction, but I'm still just showing up. And then I think, I deserve this.
Yeah.
I've actually felt like now that I deserve this. And the quicker it grows, the more it fuels me to just keep going even further and further with it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really proud of myself now.
That's good.
More evidence here. You're looking at me to come on your show.
Yeah. You should be proud of yourself.
I spoke to a lady from Perth today, and she goes, oh my God, I cannot believe it is you. I never thought that I was actually going to be seeing you face to face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
She goes, you replied to my DM. I said, it's just me. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe that's all people need, is a bit of hope and someone that they can look up to. And if that's me, that's mad.
Yeah. That's an awesome feeling. Hey, and yeah, it would be extremely overwhelming, the response that you've had and how quick you've grown and your business. And it's something that, until you experience it, like with the whole social media thing, and nothing else is like it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many eyes on you. There's so many messages that you're receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Well, like I put up on my story the other day, there was 15 in 1 hour. If I'm to switch off for a day or two, it's almost not worth opening, because I don't know where to start.
yeah.
Like I really don't, because then when you write back to one, that's not where it ends. Then they re-engage. It goes on. And most of your day then is replying and responding and offering service, which that's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
But at some point, I often say in my talks a lot of the time, when you start off at the start, you've got every reason to fail and quit, because it's just you and you've got no resources and you've got no evidence or any proof that you're doing anything. So no one wants to use you.
Yeah.
You've got no signs of evidence.
Yeah.
You've done nothing.
Yeah.
But then as you go along, you start getting a few little runs on the board and a few wins, and people tell people and they see you. And then you've got some resources and you've got a little bit of money behind you, so you can upgrade certain things like your cameras or your phone or your clothes or whatever. But now I'm at a position where I'm way too busy for it just to be me.
Yeah.
But I'm not successful enough just yet to employ someone and take a punt on them for them to take a punt on me, because I know where this is going.
Yeah.
I know exactly where this goes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm about to drop in the next month or two will change mental health for people in this country.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
gives me goosebumps,
Yeah.
hey?
I can see it too. I know how hard you've been working, and just before I get on to the next question,
Yep.
it's you just touched on employing people to help you do the work, because this movement is way larger than you can fathom.
Oh,
and
fuck. Yeah.
and yeah, I feel there is going to come a time where you're going to have to coach people just so they can coach as well
Yeah, for sure.
for you.
But this is the beauty of it. I will know within the first 10 seconds if
Yeah.
that's someone that I can represent my Love Your Mind brand, because if you haven't lived, I don't want to see your qualification. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter to me. That shouldn't matter to anyone, you know. But someone that's gone through the pit of pain, the depths of hell, and then they can stand in front and talk openly about it and then offer advice around how they did it,
Yeah.
I'll grab them straight away.
Yeah.
And we'll do it together. I used to have a guy, sorry, I said this before, I had a guy in the Philippines doing some editing for me.
Yeah.
And when you go onto this website, there's a million of these students that just want, and I was going through 5 stars, and I got to this guy with 3 stars, and I just look at his face, he looked gentle, and
Yeah.
I opened up his profile.
Yeah.
And the bottom line was, I'm not overly great with media marketing or digital stuff, but I'm happy to learn if you're willing to give me your time. And I just rang him straight away.
Yeah.
And we connected, and I said, you know why I've chosen you? And he goes, oh, why? I said, because I'm the same. I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck I'm doing or where this is going, but I know I've got something to offer.
Yeah.
So if you can be patient with me, I'll be patient with you. And we lasted a fair while.
Yeah.
But I've elevated a bit past that Philippine digital stuff now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sometimes you need to take a chance on people as well, because
Yep,
you can
definitely.
you can only hope that people will take a chance on you.
That's well said. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about this course that you've got going. I'm excited to hear all the details. So it's a 90-day course
Yep.
on
It's
like
it's on the 8 pillars that rebuild that I rebuilt myself with.
okay.
So when you say rock bottom, people have those moments of poignancy in their life. It's a pivotal moment where you're flat on your back and you can only look up. But you've got 2 choices. You can either go one way and it will lead to either suicide or just total destruction,
Yeah.
or you can shape up and just have a go and just see what happens. And that's what I chose to do.
Yeah.
So I often say I was put out in the ocean in the darkest, deepest storm as a little skeleton. And the universe said to me, you're here because of your choices and what you've done.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you another chance to prove that you're worthy of something, and then I'll give you abundance of reward. It's
Yeah.
up to you. So you can drown, or you can weather the storm and just make it stroke by stroke, day by day. Eventually you get to the shore and you look around and there's not a fucking soul there to help you. And that's all you want. You just want
Yeah.
someone to come and help you and say, it's going to be okay. Here's how I'm going to support you. But they're not there. And it's the best fucking moment of your life,
Yeah.
because then when you do come out of it, you did it. You didn't have to rely on anyone else. And like I say, I often, and then, you start putting a bit of flesh on that skeleton.
Yeah.
You start getting a little bit of personal satisfaction out of, you've been going to the gym and you've been doing your cold water therapy and you've been, doing your journaling and you've been turning up your NA meetings and you're putting time into the people that put time into you, and you're getting rid of all the shit bags out of your life that weren't serving you well. And all of a sudden people are like, you're starting to change. Like, things are starting to work for you. You look good. You look like you've been training, and you just keep going and going and going. And throughout that process, I created this program that I had no idea I was doing it. I had no idea whatsoever. First, physical movement, the gym. Second, optimizing your diet. Third, optimizing sleep. 4, getting rid of addiction and temptation. 5, self-care, journaling, meditating, breathing, reading. Your financial element of well-being, so having a goal and focusing on achieving, if it's property or it's, having better things in your life, you've got to have a financial structure for that. You can't just wing it. And then chasing your dreams and your purpose. Like, I can't imagine living one life on this planet
Yeah.
doing the shit you fucking hate. How's that good for your mental health? How's that good for your relationship? How's that good to show your kids that you can go and do something you hate for the rest of your life and be unhappy?
Yeah.
So I just by chance, I met this lady from South Africa, and I DM'd her. I had no reason for her to DM me back, and she did.
Yeah.
And here we are, fast forward. I'll tell the story one day properly, but I've got this whole digital marketing team now
Yeah.
that have built this mad course
Yeah.
based around how I live
Yeah.
and how I rebuilt myself. And it's the blueprint over 90 days to show anyone across this world exactly how you can create this mindset to win in any aspect.
Yeah.
And it's cheap as hell. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to drop it. By the end of April, it'll drop.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it come out and see the results that people are going to get for that.
Yeah, I've ran it over not quite 90 days, but like 7 days and 14 days. And I've just played around with people for nothing. And I've stored all the information, and I haven't shown anyone it yet.
Yeah.
But when I do, and you can see what they can do in 7 and 14 days, not just to their body physically, but the way they think about things.
Yeah.
Because everything starts here. If you can't fix this and the way you think about something, none of it's going to work.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Your mind has to be strong. Like,
And how funny that I called my business Loveyamind.
yeah, no, it's great.
It's really funny. I'll tell you quickly about that. I used to always go and be that one person that could say to his mates, geez, I love you, mate. I love you. And they'd be like really awkward.
Yeah.
No one says it back, but I was always that guy.
Yeah.
And so when I come up with the idea that, I was just getting knocked back after knockback to go and be a wellbeing officer because I'd done that qualification, no one would give me a chance.
Yeah.
I don't want to know him from his past. He's got no experience. He doesn't look like the sort of guy we want in our organisation. He's a criminal. He was an addict, like all this sort of stuff. So I was like, fuck this, I'm going to do this myself. And I was like, love you, mate. Love you, mate. Love your mind. If you learn how to love your mind. So we tried to domain that name.
Yeah.
And it was taken. But love your mind wasn't.
Yeah.
And then we added Australia on the end of it because I thought when I take this fucking thing to the world, they're going to know where I came from.
Yeah.
But now with the rebranding stuff, that only limits me to Australia.
Yeah.
This is just love your mind.
Yeah.
Because once I go global,
yeah, it's going to be worldwide.
There's no doubt. I got no doubt in my mind, and that's just the way. That's where it ends.
Yeah,
that's where it ends. It's not because I want to be financially rich from this. That's not. This was never and never will be about money. That's why I'm right here with you right now.
Yeah.
That's why what I'm about to do across this country, everyone will see that your heart's bigger than the dollar sign. But what comes off the back of that, that's up to the universe.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Well, it's like the law of attraction as well, isn't it? Like, you're going to make money without a doubt. Like what you're offering people, it's not just a fitness regime for the gym. No. It's not just like a diet plan. No. It's not just, it's the whole thing. It's a complete guide to change your life.
Look, it's priceless when you look at what your mental health is worth. If you can shield yourself, I can't guarantee that you can beat mental health for the rest of your life. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
What, someone goes and jumps off a cliff tomorrow because of my advice? Imagine how I'd feel.
Yeah.
What I do promote, though, is I can offer you a shield, right? A shield every day to win and give yourself the best chance to fight mental health.
Yeah.
And it's through these 8 actions.
Yeah.
And if you want to do that, you are more likely every day to not have a mental health ill day.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you stay in bed, depression will knock on the door and jump in with you. So I'm going to fuck you today.
Yeah. And it creeps up quick too, doesn't it?
It does, but it's in all of us, and it's a disease, and it never goes away. It doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
If you're a billionaire with money, like there's billionaires out there that have depression and mental health.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate. So you have to take action against it.
Yeah.
And if it's got to be every day, so be it.
Yeah. Why do you think there's such a stigma and like people don't want to speak about their mental health? Because there's a lot of people out there that they are struggling. They could really use like services from someone like yourself, or reach out to someone like yourself, or someone like me. That I'm happy to speak to people as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, like people, a lot of people don't want to open up
A
and
lot of
talk
people
about
are
it.
struggling, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, look, it's still, they say it ain't weak to speak, but come on, you know. For us as men, we have to carry masculinity in relationships with our peers, with our social group. If you're that one guy in a group that's struggling, they're not going to invite you to the pub. You're just a drag. You know,
Yeah,
I don't want to see Toddy today because all he talks about is how sad he is or how he just can't get out of this hole. And in your relationship at home too, like you can get good support off a good woman, but at some point they don't want that masculine energy on their behalf. They've got their own feminine stuff to look after. They're women.
yeah,
They don't want to be your fucking the man in a relationship as well. So you get really scared to go and ask or tell anyone that that you might be struggling. You know, so you do it in silence, and that's the killer.
yeah,
Loneliness, it doesn't go away by itself. And I say to everyone, no matter what, just open the door to one conversation with someone because it might just get you to the next day. And then that next day might be a beautiful day.
yeah,
But if you take your life, you're never going to find out.
yeah,
So just fight one more day. And if you only ever fight one more day, you only ever fight one more day, but you keep going
yeah, yeah,
because it does pass. But so do the good times. But every time it passes, you've got a little bit of a blueprint and a roadmap of how you got out of it. And you go, okay, I'm just going to go and do this time because I got rid of it last time like this. And then the next time and the next time, it just gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And eventually you work out that through action, good conversation and connection with people, you'll be on the right track to getting it right.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah, people also often get stuck, and they feel like they're stuck because they won't take action. Like you speak about, they're not taking action.
Yep.
Like one of my favorite quotes is, "What you're not changing, you're choosing."
Yeah. Well, it's spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you speak a lot about that. It's about action. Like you need to take action towards this, and otherwise, it's not going to change.
Nothing changes until you change.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to be the change. And I'll say to the guys when I hang up the phone to them on the coaching Zooms and the FaceTimes, you know that I can't wake up next to you tomorrow, don't you? And they're like, yeah. I said, so what are you going to do? I can motivate you to go and talk in front of the Prime Minister right now.
Yeah.
I can motivate you to be king or queen of the fucking world. You feel amazing, right? But what happens when I'm not there? Are you going to be strong enough to take that action by yourself? Or are you going to blame me and say, well, he hasn't done his job properly because I used his services, but I'm still stuck here in bed? Until you take full accountability and responsibility for yourself to change, you can't blame anyone else.
Yeah.
You can't, because this is on you.
Yeah.
And as hard and painful as that might sound, it's the best thing that you will learn along the way is you are responsible for beating this illness. You can beat it every day, but you got to keep taking accountability and showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. No one's gonna come and save you, like be your you know, knight in shining armor and just pick you up every day.
Well, they might for a while, but what happens is you get comfortable leaning on that person.
Yeah.
And then when it gets too much for them, because they've got their own mental health, their own life, or whatever the reason, you're used to relying on that person. So you get it twice as bad because you've done no work.
Yeah.
You've done no work and you have to do the work. Unfortunately, this is life. But if you reframe that, life's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It is.
You know, life's amazing, but you've got to take some accountability to change. Otherwise, you stay the same.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when you start looking for the positives in life, you soon realize there's a lot more of them than you think.
Yeah, that's where journaling and gratitude is really important too. You know, writing down emotions where you might be struggling, and then counteracting that with a positive emotion, and then looking at the most likely outcome here isn't what I'm worrying about. 80% of stuff is proven that what we worry about or think might happen doesn't.
Yeah.
So we live in 80% of pain when it's more likely to not happen.
Yeah.
So quickly reframe that emotion. If you've got to write it down, have a look at it and go, okay, well, I can't pay this bill this month. It's too much. what's the emotion that I can look at? There's an answer here. Maybe I can get a payment plan. Maybe we can just offer some time to give ourselves a chance to breathe, and then the feeling attached to that is relief now. That's a problem I don't have to worry about. But people get stuck in this, like, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. So they shut down.
Yeah.
They shut down. So, and that can be the same with going to the gym. I'm not a gym person. That's okay. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
Have you got onto YouTube? Have you seen the workouts that are there?
Yeah.
Have you got a set of runners? Do you want to go for a jog? Do you want to do some push-ups, squats? You can do anything you want to do if you're not a gym person. But what happens is I'm not a gym person, so I don't start. So I keep getting overweight. So I hate my body. So I don't want to get in a bikini. I don't want to take my shirt off. I don't want to do this. And then what happens is your self-worth gets lower and lower and lower. You start getting in bad moods. You start sleeping poorly. You start eating poorly. You start blaming everybody.
Yeah.
And everything falls apart.
Yeah.
Or you go, okay, I don't like the gym, but this is what I'm going to do. And then my self-worth improves, my fitness improves, my health improves, and my quality of life improves. And now I'm actually being able to make someone else feel better because I feel good about myself. I don't know anyone that feels shitty about themselves that can make someone else feel good.
Yeah.
So there's always a counteraction to that negative thought. You've just got to find that positivity. And when you do, look at what that emotion brings, and that's more likely to happen if you take action.
Yeah.
Don't go to the gym, nothing changes. Go to the gym, something changes. Go for a run, something changes.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like to say too is the best thing to deal with pain is put yourself into a bit of pain. And that could be going in the cold shower.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to have a hot shower at 5 a.m. Don't do it. Just go and stand in the cold because it's hard. I guarantee you get out feeling like you've achieved something.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, like I said before, like with pain, and if you're not in pain, like you're not going to gain anything from it. But yeah, you soon realize the more pain that you can put yourself through in, like, physical activity, your mental state becomes a lot stronger from it.
Yeah. Well, three of the big good feel emotions that we have are like endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, right? All that stuff gets released through physical exercise. That hits your brain. You're not getting that if you don't exercise. If you eat shit all the time, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
The first thing I coach is go and get to the gym or go and get exercising. As soon as you open your eyes, don't fucking journal first thing in the morning. Don't go and make a cup of coffee and sit around and think about what's going on in your life. Go straight away and exercise before you even touch your phone, before you think about anything. Give yourself that hit and give yourself a chance to shield yourself that day against the challenges that come your way.
Yeah.
Because you've already done something hard. You've already done something good for yourself.
Yeah. If we can, we'll speak about the hardest thing that you face in your life, and where it came from that you built these 8 pillars for yourself. So if we can dive into the man that's gone through all these hard times,
Yeah, for sure.
to get to where you are today, and what you're trying to show people that you can achieve. Like what happened?
They're really good questions, mate. You're very good at this. I think
Yeah.
I think you found your purpose, mate.
Oh, thanks very much, brother.
Because I've been on a fair few of these, and the way that you're guiding me into these questions is fucking A grade. So just anyone watching out there, you want to jump on this?
No, I appreciate it, brother. I'm only human. This morning I don't want to go too off topic real quick, but I'm only human.
Yeah.
I was nervous as hell this morning, and I knew the message that you need to get out there, and I really wanted to have you on my podcast. So
cool.
Yeah, I was nervous as hell, but
yeah, that's awesome, man. Awesome. Look, okay. So what you would think was the hardest part of my life probably wasn't. So, mate, as a 6-year-old boy being locked in a garden shed, being told to perform sexual acts on a young girl while my after-school carer was getting off on it, like, you would think that might be it. But I was lucky I was 6, so I don't really remember that too much. Failing as an NRL football star, as obviously my brother went on to be, that was my whole childhood dream. That's all I clung on to save myself. Once that was gone, You would think that would probably be one of the hardest parts of my life. Eventually getting arrested for drugs, and then finally having some consequences and going through, the whole process of the courts and fighting charges and then facing up to the consequences and the punishments. You would think that would be the hardest part, but it wasn't. It wasn't until my wife of 17 years decided that she'd had enough of the past me and decided to end the marriage. That was the biggest hitter because of the kids and her, and I'd never really had serious consequences for my actions and my behaviours, but to see her totally checked out, numb, and like you're not listening, you're not coming back. This ends here today, Todd. You're not listening. That was the hardest part for sure. That was going back to live with my mum in my bed where I was 15-year-old with depression and suicide. Going back at 42 years of age with no money, no job, no family left. I was shackled, man. I was shackled, totally shackled, and I had no idea how I was going to find a way out. And that was the start. That was where I knew. Sorry, man. I'm actually shaking because it
Yeah, I
hurts.
was getting
Yeah, it hurts.
I was
Hey,
getting goosebumps even just hearing you speak about that. That's when you really hit rock bottom.
yeah, it's still raw because it's so vivid, the memories of what it was like. But that had to happen for me to change. So when I talk to my ex and that now, and she'll say, I fucking hate that you've become this person that I always wanted you to be in 17 years. Why couldn't you have been this guy? And you know that I did this and I did this for you. And she's right. If she didn't leave me, I was never going to grow into this guy.
Yeah,
But it happened for a reason.
yeah,
So after a couple of weeks of sadness and going back and dabbling in a bit of addiction stuff and hanging out with the wrong people, every time I was doing that, I felt like I shouldn't have been there. I felt like I was getting worse and worse. But you can't beat addiction by yourself when you're an addict.
no,
You keep saying, oh, yeah, fuck. When you're hungover the next day, I'm not doing that again. I'm never doing that again. And then
yeah,
come Thursday, Friday, you got the itch. Someone says, oh, they've got a bag. And it's never a bad bag. No one ever says come to the toilets and have a fucking bad line of this. It's
yeah,
always fucking cracker.
yeah,
So I was always tempted. Anyway, I met a guy. Who was a public speaker, a very successful public speaker around the world. And he lived in my community. Couldn't believe it. Older guy. And we were talking, and he's like, mate, your story's so magnetic. He goes, we've got to work out a way for you to tell this without upsetting too many people in the corporate sector. And I sort of understood what he meant. And we started trying to critique this story. And he said to me one day, I don't want you coming back here anymore. I said, oh, I need you, Tony. Like, I need you really bad at the moment. He goes, you're still using. And I said, nah. He goes, yes, you are. He goes, I can see in your mannerisms, I can see your behaviour. If you don't go and fix this, I don't want to see you again. I said, fuck, where do I start? He goes, I'm going to take you to a meeting. And that was a huge turning point for me. I went to a meeting
yeah,
right out of our community, so I wasn't recognised. And I actually sat there and listened to full-blown addicts that have lost so much. And I thought, fuck, I'm about to do that. I'm about to lose all this. I've still got my health. I've still got my family. I can go see my kids whenever I want. But I'm going to end up right there if I keep going. So I got a badge that just said, just for one day. And I was so fucking proud of it. I
yeah,
wore it on my keyring. I went back and seen my kids and I left it on the table on purpose,
yeah,
just so they'd see it. And no one said anything. And I just did that so they maybe just thought maybe they could be proud of me just for something. But then you get another one, a different colour, a week later when you go back. And then you get another one at 3 weeks, 3 months, and then you get another one at 6. And I'm like, that was the major core problem, was addiction, because it led to temptations, weak choices, corner cutting, lies and excuses. So I knew if I could keep beating addiction, I was a big chance of beating all the issues that I had to fix. And it's still the catalyst today for how I rebuilt myself,
yeah,
because I beat that. When you say you beat that, I was saying to you off air, the day you say you're healed is the day you open yourself up to relapse, because we're never healed as addicts, but we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Every day it's a practice. So that was the big empowering thing, to keep going and beating that. Mm.
That's incredible. I, I had like a lump in my throat just
Yeah.
listening. I could really feel the
Yeah.
emotions.
So mum would take me and drop me off, because at that point in time I couldn't really afford fuel, which no one knows. And that was from a guy that lost it all. So there was other weeks there where I'd put gold and silver coins in the car to get there and then go home. But no one knew that. They just see me on a reel and go, he's killing it, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
But that was my mask.
Yeah.
That was my mask, because that's who I wanted to be. But no one really knew that I was living at the back of an industrial shed in my mate's place and hiding away, leaving at 4:30 in the morning before I got caught,
Yeah.
or going and crashing at mum's because she had a hot meal there for me. It was just, it was super painful, but the pain starts getting easier and easier. The waves start coming less and less and less as time goes on, but you got to keep going, because the hardest part's the start. It doesn't get any harder than that. And then the evidence of success starts developing. And why the 8 pillars are so special to me is beating addiction allowed me to go to the gym every day, because I wasn't up till 2 or 3 in the morning bendering and then couldn't go for 3 days.
Yeah.
It allowed me to eat properly every day, because I wasn't suppressing my appetite and then the next day going loading up on whatever I could because I was so depleted.
Yeah.
It allowed me to sleep properly. So instead of taking sleeping tablets to be sedated, I was optimizing my REM sleep, and I was recovering mentally. So my cognitive brain was really clear.
Yeah.
It allowed me to get away from bad temptations and people that weren't serving me well. So my positive relationships was now a big part of the pillars.
Yeah.
Learning to self-care and be proud of myself instead of always putting myself down, and being able to look in the mirror and go, mate, you're going all right. You actually turn yourself, I can look in the mirror now and believe what I'm saying. So self-care was a huge part. The journaling, getting shit off my head,
Yeah.
off my mind, was really important, to get it on paper. And then to have a purpose, I'm not going back into the pits. I'm not going back to drive trucks. I'm not going back to construction to be a TA or a labourer. I am going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep showing people to follow my journey, and this will be my passion. Whether I make money or not, I'll go and do disability support work and help other people there for money.
Yeah.
I'll sell my house if I have to, and I'll take a punt on me.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever it takes. I'll stack shelves. I'll drive an Uber. I don't give a fuck, but I'm not going back to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So there was that pillar, and then there was the big pillar, which is it was just who's Todd Ennis? Who is he? And I could look in the mirror and I could say, he's this guy, he's this guy, he's this guy. He's not that guy anymore. Because there was a time where I was like, he's a lying piece of shit, a loser, a cheater, a fucking drug addict, a failure, a bad person, someone that's been fucking humped and dumped and thrashed as a fucking kid, child abuse, and no one really values a guy that, so you just didn't think you were capable of love and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you just, yeah. But I am now. See, this is the thing. This is the rebuild. I'm worthy of being loved, absolutely. But I'm also very, very valuable to people now, because this is just me and how I did it. This is how I continue to live, and this is continue how to infect this world, this country, because I am my resume, I am my certificate, I am my university degree.
Yeah.
Because I had to sit in the fucking pit of pain on that fucking sword,
Yeah.
and I had two choices: to quit and drown, or fucking swim and have a go. And there's nothing stopping me now, mate.
No.
I can't go back. I would never go back to any of those previous traits that I had, because this has served me so well. And I'm now an inspiration to my kids. I'm an inspiration to the community. People all over this country are just fucking flooding me every day with DMs saying, I want you to coach me. I want you to show me how you did it. but it's not every hour. It's every fucking minute. Like,
Yeah.
we'll go to my phone. I can show you. It'll be crazy. But
Yeah.
when they said to me it's going to be a hard market to dive into mental health because everyone's cashing in through the government, getting grants and all that, and I was like, yeah, fucking oath it will be.
Yeah.
But there's a McDonald's down the street, there's a KFC there, there's a Pizza Hut there. You just do a better job.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll do a better job.
And you're doing it in your own way, and your story is incredible. Like, all the things that you've gone through and you've come out on the other side to then now show people this is what you can achieve. Like, look at me, like, I've done it. And you're an inspiration. You really are.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like it now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it. There's this is much bigger than what I just thought was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, it's inevitable now that more and more people are going to fix their shield against mental health because of the impact that I'm having.
Yeah.
And I won't stop. I'll just keep going. I love it.
I can't wait to see where you're going to take it from where you're at now.
Yeah,
and
it'll be a big year, that's for sure.
that's the next thing I wanted to ask is, what's next for Love Your Mind?
Yeah.
Where are you going from here? I know that you've got your 90-day course coming out in April, and I know you're pretty much already at your 10,000 follower mark that you wanted by the end of the year. It's the 28th of February today.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great question. I've got visions of what I want to do, and that's the same visions that I will do. So I don't do anything that I don't say anymore. Even as simple as getting on a reel, say I'm going to do 100 push-ups. I will stop at 60 and have a rest. I'll stop at 70. I'll stop until I get 100. I won't stop. And that's another big thing, is doing what you say. You know, like, words have to align to actions. So if you're going to do something and you say it, especially for me publicly now, that goes out to fucking hundreds of thousands of people, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, I will move to the Gold Coast this year and take a punt. I don't know anyone there, but I got a feeling when I get there, that's where I'm going to flourish the most. I've got to get out of my community because I don't want to just spend my whole life in one area.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, that area, I was an addict there.
Yeah.
I was a criminal there. I was this and this, and I'll always be that until I change my environment. So I will move there throughout the year.
Yeah.
What comes off the back of this is not something that I can put a cap on anymore. I can't say I'm going to have 100,000 followers by the end of the year, so I'll have more.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm going to impact just this country by the end of the year, because I'll be impacting the world.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm not going to have staff, or I'm not sure if I can employ someone by the end of the year, because I will have staff.
Yeah.
You know, like, these things, I won't stop until I get it. Like, there's just, the only way you lose is when you quit. If you never ever quit, you always win.
Yeah.
There's two countries go to war and they're battling for fucking land and territory. There has to be, at some point, a country that puts their flag up.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. And if you're not prepared to lose, and you'll go until you win, you have to win.
Yeah.
You have to win. There can only be one winner.
Yeah. I love your relentless way that you look at it. Like, it's not even like you want to do it. It's like you have to.
Yeah.
This is your purpose.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's just similar to yourself, mate. It's not work when we're doing this, because it's fun, but it's authentic and real because you've done it and you're meant to do it. And I wasn't supposed to be silent after the life I lived.
Yeah.
What would be the point of leaving this earth and not helping someone? What would be the point of doing that?
Yeah.
Now, every time I turn the camera on, I could be impacting millions of people, and just giving them one more day going, fuck, maybe I'll just go to the saltwater this afternoon and just breathe like he said he's doing, and just see what it's like. And then the next day they go, fuck, that was awesome. I might go back there at the end of the week or something and do that again. But in between, I'm going to start working out, or I'm going to start this fast that he's doing, and just see why the benefits for mental clarity. And then all of a sudden, you've got all these things to look forward to. So you're not thinking about what life could be like if you're not here. You're thinking about, I can't wait till tomorrow to try this fast.
Yeah.
I can't wait till tomorrow to go and see if I can actually go and run 5Ks. I can't wait to get to the beach and see what the water feels like. I can't actually wait to see the fucking sun come up in the morning. Like, all of a sudden, things are being built without you even knowing.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. You
it's
start
fucking good,
get
isn't it?
yeah. You start getting busy and setting goals for yourself, and you're ticking off your list, and it's time is time goes so fast.
Yeah.
Like I I'm only 28 years old. I
Yep.
can only imagine how fast time has felt for yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just need to start, take action.
You just got to start. And life from 26 to 42 now, it went like that because I was in addiction.
Yeah,
It's what a waste.
yeah,
But I can't look at it like that. Look
no,
at you can dwell, you can feel sad, but what's the point?
yeah,
It's not going to change tomorrow.
yeah,
All I can do is go, okay, that was an experience. It was part of where I'm at, but now I can go and show people what that looked like and the effects it had on a man and where I ended up.
yeah,
But then I can show you how to start rebuilding that too.
yeah,
To now to live a life that maybe we don't even imagine what's out there for us. All I know is that the best chapters are ahead.
yeah.
That's it.
I feel like your future is going to be even much bigger than what you can comprehend. Like,
Well, that'll be by me staying on the right track and not going anywhere. Just keep doing what I'm doing and keep believing in myself and everyone else continuing to trust this process that I've put in place. When people trust you and they see what you're doing is working, they want to be part of that because the rules and the principles, they're the same. It's just a different example. If it's a relationship, it's a different example. If it's an addiction, if it's alcohol, gambling, if it's your career, your job, your physical health, whatever it is, the same principles apply. The same rules and the discipline applies to that. It's just a different example.
yeah,
And that is non-negotiable. Because if this isn't right, that's not going to stay right.
yeah,
Might be for a day or two,
yeah,
but you'll quit.
yeah. Like you said, it's inevitable.
Yeah, but when
It
you're
will,
living this life and when you look like this and you feel like this and all this good stuff continues to happen, why would you stop that?
yeah.
Go, okay, I'm just going to have a break now and see what it feels like to suck again.
Mm.
There's no way.
When you start seeing such self improvement, that's the biggest addiction of all.
Yeah.
I've
Well, yeah, like I say to everyone, there is no high, and believe me, I've tried many different highs, but there's a huge crash to those highs. Whereas this, there's no crash to this.
yeah,
You just wake up and do the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. And everything just fucking stays on a high.
yeah,
I've got people that are close to me going, mate, you live in a fantasy world where all you do is just look at life just like this. And I'm like, but that's my choice. What do you want me to live like? Do you want me to live like where you're at, where you're dark and there's clouds and life's not that great? Or do you want me to live with fucking poodles and rainbows in my head and all I think about is how good life's going to be? And that's my choice.
yeah, it
You can't
is.
tell me how to live.
Yeah.
But when you live like that, the natural vibrations from the universe feel that as well.
Guys, I learned a very, very valuable lesson. While I was filming this podcast with Todd, unfortunately, I ran out of memory on my camera. Now, sometimes in life, unfortunately, we have to learn lessons the hard way. And today was one of those days. And I'm really, really sorry to Todd and all of you guys watching that this happened. And I'll make sure that this never happens again. If you want to hear or the rest of this podcast, either go to Spotify or Apple and you can hear the rest of it. I'm so sorry again that this happened and it won't happen again. I love your work, Todd, and thanks so much for coming on.